Good afternoon, it's Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. Hope you're enjoying your lunch, folks. Join me. Let's talk about term limits. Good afternoon, Yonkers. I am Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. Ending term limits. Let's discuss what you think, what I think, and what the experts think.
You're watching Basement Politics.
Good afternoon, folks. I'm Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics. How you doing? It's a little faded, I know. A lot of crime fighting going on, tends to wear out the shirt. Folks, I want to talk about term limits, ending term limits. Who's not talking about it, right? If you are in the know politically, if you're paying attention, you know that term limits is the big topic here locally, at least in the city of Yonkers. And the mayor has expressed his intention to run again. I find that interesting because technically, legally, he cannot run again. However, the mayor recently said in a News 12 phone call, I believe it was, he was over 7, maybe more of 8, in terms of running again. But where was the discussion about the fact that he cannot run again? Technically, he is termed out. Does he know something we don't know? Does News 12? And does LoHUD know something we don't know? Because today LoHUD had an article, and I could not read it because I don't have a subscription. But they're talking about the term limits and changing term limits and the mayor running again for re-election. Term number 4. How do you feel about that? How does the city of Yonkers, the voters, the residents feel about that? Because they'd have you believe that people want it. And I'm not saying they don't. I'm saying that they're saying people want it. I've seen a lot of opposition, at least on my podcast, comments that people have made. But I want to know, what is the general consensus? I would love to hear a lot more from a lot more people on exactly what you would like to see here happen in terms of term limits come next election. They might overturn term. Oh, no, they not might. They will. It's a fact. It's guaranteed. I mean, the mayor would not go around indicating that he may run again unless he knew he had the votes. And when I say he has the votes, I mean the votes within the city council to overturn term limits, which they will do. There's only 2 individuals I think that would vote no or will vote no, and that is Corazon Pineda Isaac, councilwoman for District 2, and Anthony Moranti, the council member representing District 6. Why? Because I hear they both have aspirations of becoming the next mayor. I don't know about Corazon Pineda Isaac, but Moranti, at least there'd be a Republican in the race, right? I mean, how many people here would love to see Republicans enter more of these races? I mean, many of them go unopposed. But I hear Moranti is very interested in running again. I mean, he spent a lot of money in his re-election campaign. He saw that they were coming at him. They ran Tim Hodges against him. That was 2021. He had a billboard that he spent a lot of money on just to assure that he would beat Tim Hodges. I mean, after all, Zahi Jeris was involved in that race. And usually when Zahi is backing a candidate, that candidate wins. However, that seems to be changing. Tim Hodges and the other guy that they wanted to be Bowman. What was his name? Gashi. I'm Spano out. I voted for him for many years, but he doesn't have my vote if he runs another term. There you go. That's 1 for no. But the mayor is already campaigning. The mayor's going around doing things in the community, doing grand openings with businesses, handing out proclamations. appointing people to different advisory boards, committees, and other things that he's been doing. And one of them is the recently the Women's Advisory Board. He named a few people to this board, and I want to talk about that. The Yonkers Mayor Spano, this was yesterday, swears in reestablished Women's Advisory Board. Check it out there. Definitely appealing to the Black community, hard body, as we'd say. Right. So there he has Ashley Polano to the far left, Shelley October, Mayor Mike Spano, obviously, Melvina Lathan, Phyllis Folks, Riva Jones, Alessandra Ristiano, Council President Lakeisha Collins Bellamy, City Council Majority Leader. Mayor Spano last evening swore in 7 members to serve on the Women's Advisory Board. The board's goal is to advise the mayor on issues that affect the quality of life for women in the city of Yonkers. Wasn't that something, right? I mean, a lot of women are being affected by the lack of affordable housing or safe and healthy housing. I spoke to a woman, a mother of 4, who reached out to our council members. She reached out to her councilwoman, Shanae Williams, who did not respond. Corazon Pineda Isaac was gracious enough to reach out to the woman, but told her it was too bad that she was not in her district. Otherwise, she would have helped. Well, this is a woman seeking help for the quality of life that she has, and because of the slumlord. Jeez. I mean, how much fake can this be? A lot of women are suffering here in the city of Yonkers, right? Let's go term limits. Well, I appreciate that. I'll write Freddie Vasquez for mayor. If I get enough of those, you guys are gonna make me run for real, man. I did get some cash recently. I freed up some liquidated an investment, free up some cash in the event. Who knows? What are term limits? What are term limits? Term limits are legal restrictions put in place to limit the number of years an incumbent can serve in elected office. Term limits essentially serve 2 purposes. First, they are set as a statutory limitations to ensure that the same individual is not in the same public office for more than a specific number of years. Second, they serve as a preemptive step to preclude office holders from accumulating, listen to this, from accumulating and yielding a certain degree of power within their respective legislative chambers. This, in turn, is intended to prevent abuse of power. You understand? So term limits are there for a reason, and this is why I am in support of term limits. It's not personal. It's not against Mike Spano. And I know I've been getting a lot of flack. Other people that know me get a lot of flack. Freddie doesn't speak about the mayor Spanos enough. Well, because he's termed out technically. All right. We still have to deal with some of the other council people. And plus, the council people represent the people directly of each district. They are the check and balance of this whole system of government we have here in the city of Yonkers. So term limits are important because they keep, a restriction on people from accumulating too much power and yielding that power, abusing that power, building a network of relationships with powerful people over time. And it's almost by default. It's not like necessarily sometimes people go in there with the intention of doing just that, but by default, it happens. Now I have this power. Now I can get this person a job, that person in this position. I can do this, I can do that. It's been happening for so many years. Might as well. Why not? I can. Why term limits? Why? Why term limits? By Lawrence W. Reed. Early in the 1990s, a grassroots movement to limit terms of elected officials in various public offices blossomed nationwide. Term limit ballot initiatives passed in 19 states, usually by landslide margins. The U.S. Supreme Court threw out all state-imposed term limits on federal positions in 1995, but those for states and local offices were affirmed. The citizen legislator, the term limits movement has slowed in recent years and in a growing number of states, the political establishment is fighting back. Quietly, in most cases, lawmakers are starting to talk up the idea of extending the length of term voters choose to limit or to repeal the restriction altogether, which is what we are talking about here in the case of Yonkers. They want to end it. They extended it once. And some of the individuals who are involved in that now have cushy jobs here in the city of Yonkers, making over $100,000 to do nothing. And that will happen to individuals now who make it happen, who support and allow this term ending to go forward. But the reasons the term limit concept caught on the first place remains as potent as ever. It was Benjamin Franklin who summed it up best, who summed up the best case for term limits more than 2 centuries ago. In free governments, the rulers are the servants and the people their superiors. For the former to run among the latter does not degrade, but promote them. In other words, when politicians know they must return to ordinary society and live under the laws passed while they were in government, at least some of them will think more carefully about the long-term effects of the programs they support. Their end all will not be re-election, but because that option will not be available. So that, they're saying that they'll think about it. They'll have more thought into what they do if they know they're not going to be here forever. This is not their career. We have an issue with career politicians now at all levels of government. And they're making decisions that are impacting us and not so positively, right? I mean, now we're seeing it in Yonkers. People are starting to really see it now. They're coming up to me and saying, Freddie, the rents are going up. I can't find a decent apartment. My apartment is crap. The landlord won't fix it. He wants us out. They're posting eviction signs that look bogus, condemning buildings and forcing people out. There are no jobs. They promised us these jobs. Time and time again, we've been promised things that have not materialized. And at some point, the people, while you may think they're not savvy, will eventually start to see the writing on the wall. And that's happening as local business owners are being forced to close down. And that's not okay to me. And I cannot give a F. I seriously could not care. I can say, you know what? It's not me. It's not happening to me. Although they did mess with my daycare center, but that's when I saw the issue for what it really was. And I just thought to myself, it's not okay. And they're not people that don't have, a lot of people that don't have the ability to fight and speak out. And I felt that that was my obligation to do so. And that's why I do this, because I don't make a penny. I don't make $1. And so I think it's unfair, and people are starting to see what's happening. And so if you want things to change, it starts at City Hall. We have to change who our elected officials are and how they represent us. We have to encourage new individuals to run, people that truly want to make a difference in the community and that care about all the people and not just a specific demographic, especially those that are at the highest income earning levels. City of Yonkers is a place where the average person makes $35,000 a year. And the average luxury development or apartment in these luxury developments are $36,000 a year in rent. So how do we reconcile that? What does that tell you? That you are not welcome here anymore. And it's time that you start to come out and be heard. The question of term limits and their importance in local city government has cropped up again in Nevada politics. And this is happening in a lot of places. Right? A lot of politicians are looking to extend or end term limits. In Michigan, city employees were helping the local elected officials there get signatures by conning the residents and the voters with a luncheon after they voted to have term limits. They still wanted to get it passed, even when the voters said no. They don't care about what the people want. The reasons why term limits are so important may not be as clearly defined as some assume. The key argument against term limit revolves around the idea of denying citizens the right to vote for who they choose, right? So we're hearing that here in Yonkers. If people don't want so-and-so to be in office, then they can vote them out. Term limits have no impact on that, right? Shouldn't matter, should be who they vote for. But unfortunately, over the years, I and many others have lost faith in our election system, our election process. I personally have been taught how they scam and fraud and manipulate elections. And it's not difficult. It's not rocket science. And I've explained it to people, explained to me by Democrats. So it happens. They ballot harvest. That's what it's called, ballot harvesting. So the election process is not all the way trustworthy, right? So anyway, an idea which must, by its very nature, ignore the fact that long-serving incumbent politicians hold a decidedly unfair advantage in terms of name recognition and money-raising power, right? So, you know, that's what I've said also. Yeah, they can vote for that person out, or I should say, excuse me, they don't have to vote for that person, but all the years that person has been in office has allowed him or her to develop brand recognition, name recognition, build relationships with like developers who fund them, who have made deals that we don't know about, and these developers want to ensure that they stay in office. So they're going to give them as much money as possible. So anyone coming in who looks to oppose this individual will have an uphill battle on roller skates. When the framers, I should say, of the constitutions were defining our federal government, its branches, and its duties, they were basing their structure on British Parliament. I don't want to go into that. It's not important. 8 reasons why you need to rethink term limits. 8 reasons why you need to rethink term limits. What are they? Term limits uphold the public trust. A nonprofit organization holds a public trust to achieve results towards its mission to the very best of its ability. Many nonprofits are started by small groups of people who are passionately dedicated to the cause. But as soon as the organization incorporates, it's no longer their own small initiative. I'll move on. 2, determine term limits undercut dictatorships, right? If you have term limits, you can't have people constantly running. So you have dictatorships or unofficial monarchies. Right? Yeah, because I mean, at this point, I like to say that the Spano family is almost like, you know, the royal family, right? They kind of are. You know, Mike Spano is the king now, right? King William or Prince Philip. I say King Philip. What's the name? King Charles, right? And so that it's like a monarch. They've been in here so long that people just know Spano, and people may not even know who to vote for, but they go out and vote and they see Spano and they just check it off, or they choose that, right? Not that I'm saying it's not a good choice or a bad choice or the right choice. Point is that name alone, it's going to psychologically, you know, automatically create a reaction, which is usually to vote for that person. So that name recognition is what I talked about. 3, term limits broaden thinking. Right? When you get in new people, new ideas, fresh perspective, that can add something, that adds value to the overall process. But unfortunately, here in the city of Yonkers, we have seen the same individuals time and time again. How do we have any true diversity? We don't. Even when they put in Black and Latinos, there's no diversity, because ultimately, at the end of the day, the person, you know, giving the orders, calling the shots, calling the plays is the same. Just look at our city council like athletes, right? But in this case, they don't look for the best athletes. They look for the weakest athletes, right? So that's the problem. So there is no diversity, and that's important. We need new, fresh ideas. Term limits ensure appropriate skills. Term limits signal openness. Term limits lessen burnouts. And this is something I've heard, that the mayor's tired, doesn't want to run again. But there are forces unseen by the public that are pushing him in that direction. Last time I sat with the mayor and we talked, it was in an unofficial, you know, informal setting. He looked tired. He looked very tired. He had bags under his eyes. And he's just like, I just want to be done with this. I got enough money. I'm good. Got a beautiful wife, a beautiful family. I'm good. Why do I need to keep doing this? But I have no choice. Term limits thin the dead wood. All right. So, folks, these are the 8 reasons why we should be in support of term limits. Why should you sign the U.S. term limit constitutional amendment? Voters love term limits. Poland consistently shows support for term limits in the mid 70% range or higher. Major votes on states' legislative term limits have been held in many states and cities over the last few years, and each time citizens have overwhelmingly defended their term limits laws, as the case here in Yonkers. They tried to end term limit once, but it didn't work out. People said no. So they extended them. And, many individuals got a third term. Corazon Pineda on a third term. Look at District 2. All that time, what have you done in District 2? And I'm not trying to, listen, disclaimer, it's not personal. I don't dislike you. I'm looking at your actions. That's it. What have you accomplished in District 2, Corazon? What? An officer was shot there early in the year in the bodega. What have you accomplished in District 2? The Ludlow area is not the only part of your district, and it's unfortunate that that's where your concern has been, due to the fact that they're doing a lot of stuff there, a lot of changes of zoning laws, proposing of developments and stuff, and that's where developers are at. So that's where you're at. Did anyone see the real estate committee meeting yesterday, led by John Rubo? They talked about the Ludlow Park area and the proposed changes. They're changing zoning laws all day long. That's what they're doing, right? And so they're trying to really make this area look like it needs this, right? Like what they're doing is much needed, and we should all support it because, and to quote the assistant commissioner of the planning, which I've met several times with in person, he's a nice guy. It's funny, but he said that it's a barren. It's a barren area, barren, like desert, deserted. That's not true. That's not true. He wants to tell it like that so it can justify why they're changing these laws to put in these luxury developments. It's not a barren wasteland. There's businesses operating within those warehouses. People are employed. He's trying to make it seem like the buildings are so old they can't use them. These are buildings that only could run on coal. If we don't have coal, you can't use them. Like he's really trying to really diminish that area and, and make it seem like it's in much need of something. It's in much need of luxury developments and a waterfront park. They want to make it an urban area. That's what they're talking about. Urban development. Why? Yonkers is the place that I love, and I'm sure many other people love, because it's not so urban. We don't want to be New York City. What does being urban mean? What does that come with? That comes with a lot more people, higher crime, harder parking, to find parking, right? It just comes with a lot negative stuff that we as people from Yonkers love, because we didn't have to deal with that. But unfortunately, they think that that's what we want. They are trying to sell us on that idea. We are becoming a transient city, so people are just going to be coming in and out of Yonkers. No real roots in the city here. We don't know who's coming in and out, because they want to make it a transit-oriented district, TOD. And so that is where our elected officials that currently are serving in office are pushing us. And for the folks who live in that area, unless you want a bunch of crowds, more people, big buildings blocking your views, you need to speak up about it. You need to say something about it. And I love how they try to say, oh, well, we were going to go 6 stories, but we decided against it. And the top floors are going to be pushed back a little bit. They're going to have a setback. So, they don't create a canyon effect, as some of the residents were concerned with. Also, they'll create a mountain effect instead of a canyon effect, right? You think that pushback, that setback is going to make much difference? Doesn't matter. Still going to be 6 stories tall. And just wait for the 40-story tall building that I know that they're going to be putting up soon. It'll be the tallest building in Yonkers. And it's going to be super crowded, this place. Extremely crowded. Right? And is that what you guys want? And if that is what you want, if you love what's happening here in the city of Yonkers, then you have no problems with what it's about to happen in terms of ending the term limits, because they're going to do that. They're going to get their benefits for it. Mike Breen most likely will not win and beat Nader, but he knows that. His goal isn't to have to drive all the way up to Albany. You crazy? That man doesn't even want to go to City Hall. Only time he wants to drive is his city car down to the Jersey Shore. Get himself a hot dog and lay up on the beach all day. But he's doing a favor, keeping Nader at bay. And for that, and as well as voting yes to end term limits, he will get a city job. Unless he runs again for the 5th district, because at which case, remember, he will have that option now. How do you feel about that, Ron Mattin? Did you think about that when you wrote that letter, Ron? Did you think ahead? How many moves? You have to think at least 5. Remember, at least 5. But I don't think you were thinking 5 steps ahead. I think you were just thinking 1. Or maybe just that I want to be the 5th District City Council representative. And so you did something that's not cool, Ron. I like you a lot. I do. And I say this because, I'm just a straight up guy. I'm the type of guy that can say something that might make some people feel uncomfortable or awkward. Like, I point out the elephant in the room. You know what I mean? Like, I don't like to ignore the elephant. All right. Elephant stinks. It's blocking my way. Guys, do you see it? Let's get it up out of here. Okay. But can we move the elephant? And so, Ron, you weren't thinking ahead. Right. And you anticipated also that the administration that they'd be running again. Right. They'd have to in order for that plan to work. They'd have to win again in order to get you in there on the 5th district and you can run unopposed. So you knew this was coming as well. So when you spoke about a referendum to, protest the ending of the term limits, was that a bunch of talk? Was that a bunch of hogwash? How does John Murtaugh feel about it? Is he still with it? Or is the GOP just, the pet of the Democratic Party here in Yonkers? You guys aren't real GOP guys. You're not. You're not part of the red wave. You guys are more like purple. More like purple, these guys, And if I was a Republican, I'd be pissed off at you guys. That's for sure. Nashville, term limits. 8 is not enough. Everywhere. People want term limits everywhere, and they're trying to change this, right? Threat level high to change it in Palm Beach Garden, term limits. Oklahoma City, okay, term limits now, right? So they're trying to change it everywhere. Politicians are looking to make politics their career. They have benefited greatly in their positions of power. And they don't want to give that up. I mean, shit, some of them they ain't doing nothing and they're getting money. They get recognition, they get benefits. Some of them ain't never had this in their entire life. And it's, you know what, you guys shouldn't do that because you're spoiling some of these people, right? You never had a job before, and now they get into politics. And they think life is not about working. It's just about getting, and not giving. It's bad message to send to some of these individuals, right? So, folks, November 8th, there will be an election. The governor, man, who you guys are voting for? I'm sorry. Again, I cannot vote for Kathy Hochul. That's my opinion. You can do what you want. Has nothing to do with Democrat or Republican. It has to do with that woman masked my children for months. She implemented the mask requirement 2 weeks in to being governor. Right? That was one of her first 2 things that she did. I forgot what the first other one was, but the first thing she did was she passed all this money for the TOD, transit-oriented districts, to do this development. So these developers are using federal funding, folks, as much as you don't like to think so. They're using taxpayer money to do what they're doing also. The federal government's funding these mixed-use developments. They want people in the city, and they don't want people using cars as much. That's the direction our country is heading. So they want to create transit-oriented districts and mixed-use developments. What does that mean? Well, you have apartment buildings on top. You have the bodega at the bottom. You have the daycare center right there. You have the laundromat right there. You have, whatever, everything is right there. A supermarket. You don't go far. And when you do need to go to work, you hop right on the train and it takes you there and brings you back. That's the goal. That's where we're headed. Part of the Smart City Agenda 2030. No conspiracy. It's just a matter of actually reading what's going on, right? So she passed this money down. That was one thing. Then she put the mask on the kids. That was the second thing, right? So I'm not voting for her. I can see it in her eyes. She is, she's been possessed by the, Lucifer, the man of light. Anyway, folks, I'm Freddie Vasquez. 30 minutes exactly. Nice. Get out and vote November 8th. That's right, folks. So who are you going to support? By the way, folks, Mike Cater is running for mayor. Okay, let's talk about it. Mike Cater gave me a phone call yesterday. And again, I made a post about this. I don't speak to Mike Cater often. However, I did speak to him yesterday. And when I speak to him, I will tell you. All right. And Mike Cater said, Freddie, what's the word on the street? I said, well, meaning what's the temperature? What's going on? How do people feel? And I said, Mike, I think you got a lot of people that are willing to support you, but there's like different categories of supporters, right? You have those that are going to support you. They're behind you. If Mike Cater runs, I'm going to vote for him. Then you got the supporters that are saying, well, he has to clear his name first from that investigation, right? Otherwise, I can't put my support behind him. And then you have other individuals that say, I'll support Mike, but where's he been? Did he get scared away from politics? Did he run off? Seems like he's not strong enough. He's not, he gets scared easily, right? I haven't heard from him. He's done. So I was telling him this and I said, Mike, if you're going to run for mayor, you're serious about this, I would suggest that you come out and start letting people know, start campaigning, because I believe in my heart of hearts, and I believe this from day one, that Mayor Spano was going to run again, and he is. And the council is going to eliminate end the terms. That's going to happen. It's a fact. So just look at it as it already happened, right? So you're going to go against Mike Spano. He's already campaigning. Mike Spano's out there campaigning, if you haven't noticed. And so the longer you wait, Mike, the more you're going to have to fight harder down the road in order to beat him. He's going to already put that message out there, and you have to counter it if you truly want to win or have a chance of winning. Now, I'm just giving advice. I'm not saying that that's, it's going to be an interesting thing. Mike versus Mike. That's going to be a very interesting race there for mayor. It's going to be a lot of stuff coming out. Remember, Mike Cater is suing Mike Spano, along with the entire city council and other individuals. So not only does Mike Cater have an investigation, Mike Spano has this lawsuit now that he has to contend with. They're trying to get it dismissed. That's the hopes, right? They don't want to have to deal with a lawsuit in the middle of a campaign or middle of an election. So they're working to try and get it dismissed. It has to do with the negative attacks, some corruption stuff Mike Cater put in there involving the Ludlow project, the proposal. The Committee for Better Yonkers, Roseanne Gallego, whatever her name is, her husband Dennis, who was on the ethics board, right, the Board of Ethics, which they said was still functioning, and they were supposed to have a meeting, but that was a lie. They're not around. They're defunct now. They're now defunct ethics board. So he's going to have that to deal with. I told Mike, I said, listen, so what? If you're innocent, like you say, doesn't matter if you have this investigation on you. Go out there, show up at events, show people that say you have run away because you're scared that you're not scared. Convince those that think that, they can't support you fully unless this investigation is over, that this investigation is bogus, as you say. Convince them, prove it to them. And for those that support you no matter what, you need to come out and show face so they can see you. That's what I told him. It's time to get on it now. You have to start putting it out there. They know you're going to run. They know you're going to run. So they're already planning for it. They're already strategizing for it. They're not stupid. I'm sure they're planning for it. So why wait? It's not going to make a difference. Go out and do it. Let's go. 2023. Election cycle is going to be very interesting. Mike versus Mike. Mike Spano, the incumbent, versus Mike Cater, the former city council president. That's going to be a great match. But a lot of stuff is going to come out, folks. A lot of information is going to be put out to the public. It's not going to be good on certain individuals, that's for sure. It's going to expose much of the corruption and the connection. Where is the money? Where has it been going? Who are the individuals involved? Who are the ones that we don't hear about? It's all going to come out. It's going to be an interesting 2023, and you have to stay tuned right here to Basement Policies, because I'm going to put out what you want to hear first. I'm not going to do the BS interviews like this other guy. No, we're giving it to you real here on Basement Politics. The information that's important for you to know, not the lies that they want you to hear. So make sure you stay tuned to Basement Politics. Term limits. Are you for ending them or not? Will you vote for the mayor again if the city council decides to vote to end term limits, which they will do? How do you feel about it? Write me a comment. I want to hear from you, folks. I'm Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics. Thanks for joining me. Yeah, I knew it was going to happen. I knew Mike Spano was going to run again. I knew Mike Cater was going to run again. Please tell me one thing that I have mentioned that has not happened so far. All right? I know what I'm talking about. I brought you that Alexandria Bassesi. Yeah, she going to take Elena Goldberg's spot. Is that what Carmen is, prepping her for? She's from Rockland County. Why is she coming down to Yonkers? Taking a city job and now taking a city court position? Why? She's from Rockland County. Her husband is a Jewish man. How much money is he spending on campaign contributions? What's the connection there? Folks, it's all going to come out in the wash, if not in the rinse, as they say. There's a lot of stuff happening here in the city of Yonkers. So we have to stop this already. Enough is enough. Carmen Gomez-Goldberg. I shared a bunch of stuff on my page. Go check it out. I mean, she's tried to do a lot of different things. She was a Republican, Democrat, doesn't know what she want to be. Yonkers Latina activist, county legislative seat. Carmen Gomez-Goldberg has helped found several community organizations, including 100 Hispanic Women of Westchester and the Yonkers Federation of Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. But they don't help all Hispanics. They don't help all Hispanics, not at all. A Republican turned Democrat who is active in Yonkers civic life is running for Westchester County Legislator, District 16. Didn't turn out too well. Right? So these individuals have been around forever, and that's 2011, folks. 2011. Still here. Actually, that was 2017. Let's go to 2011. Boom, 2011. Gomez-Goldberg endorsed by Amacone and Pataki. Westchester County Legislator candidate Carmen Gomez-Goldberg got endorsements this past weekend from two of her fellow Republicans, Yonkers Mayor Phil Amacone and former Governor George Pataki. Gomez-Goldberg is now running for legislator of the 17th district. She doesn't know what party she wants to be in. She didn't know what district she wanted to represent. She's just trying to get in there. Unbelievable. Pataki called her a friend. Unbelievable. See what I'm saying, folks? So we got to get these individuals out. This is what they do. They monopolize politics here in the city of Yonkers. And they use it to benefit themselves, their family, their friends. While we complain about the roads not being fixed, our kids not going to schools that are up to par, no bus monitors, our kids getting dropped off at wrong bus stops. Did you know that, your kid might have been in a school bus accident, but the school doesn't tell you? I didn't even know. I just found out from another parent on Monday that my son had spoken with the police officers because his bus was involved in an accident and the police were called and he was a witness. So they got his name and information and everything. No one alerted me. I was alerted by another parent whose son also was made a witness, and she was alerted by her son. How is that even okay? It's like when they took one of our after-school students on my program, the bus took him to the wrong school. He got to his actual school, the right school, an hour and a half late, and no one notified his mom. Had he not told her, his mom, she wouldn't have known. And that's not okay. So obviously our leadership has failed us, is failing us. And it bothers me that they can do so much for these developers, these people coming in to Yonkers that have not put any blood, sweat, and tears into this city, that have been asking for so much for so long and have gotten so little. It's time for that to change. And if you allow this term thing to continue or to go forward, you will see this never ending. The same individuals. Do we want to see Tasha Diaz in city council anymore? Is Shanae Williams truly representing District 1 the way she should be and to the best of her ability? What about Corazon Poneda Isaac, District 2? Continues to be crime infested, drug infested, people getting shot. Nothing has changed or has been done. Tasha Diaz in District 3, her claim to fame is standing around doing selfies at food distributions. Feeding Westchester, a nonprofit who is supposed to be doing so much good by providing this food. What are they really doing? They're helping politicians look good. Genuine community members want to align themselves with Feeding Westchester, and they tell them there's not any more membership opportunities, any more partnership opportunities. But there's a lot of people that are hungry. What do you mean? There's never enough partnership opportunities. Do you see the crisis we're going through? But I guess I'm not a politician, right? Or I'm Freddie Vasquez and they don't want to help me. Please stop the nonsense. Stop it. This is bogus. I agree that Alvarado has to go, but Goldberg is unfortunately just as deep in the political swamp. Absolutely. Absolutely, and has been for a very long time. Do you think it's fair that she has herself, son, daughter-in-law, stepdaughter, and now mind you, she had 2 sons, both work for the city. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people. She's trying to get this girl into this city court judge thing. You know that she's taking away our money from our school district. The Charter School of Excellence on Warburton is currently in violation of the agreement they have with the city of Yonkers. They are supposed to only take 50% enrollment of Yonkers public school students. They are 70%. That's money that goes out of our district to this charter school, and they get to select which students they want. How is that process done? Is it done fairly? Are people getting paid? Is it a family and friends hookup? They just got a brand new school building while our Yonkers public school students are in serious need. $50 million that building cost. And they got it almost done. Yonkers is still working on that damn school on McLean. And that one is pushing $100 million. Why? Carmen Gomez Goldberg got that job there because of her connection to the city of Yonkers and its official mayor, as well as the unofficial mayor. With that connection, anyone coming into the city of Yonkers looking to do something like a charter school, it's going to have an end. And so she has managed to allow this school, charter school, to violate the agreement, enrolling 70% or more kids from the Yonkers public schools, taking away money for each student. The school district, Yonkers, has to pay them. And that can be sometimes $30,000, $40,000 a year per student. And it's not like it's open to all the students of Yonkers because it's a selective process. And I find it unfortunate that they get to take our school district money as well as get a brand new building, get it done in time for this school year, and we're still here struggling. My kids attend Yonkers public school, and they will continue to, because I'm going to make it a point. I'm not going to put them in Catholic school, although they were. And I'm not going to, do what everyone else does. Try to get the hook up to Stepanak when they're in high school. So it's not okay. You cannot continue to vote for the same individuals because this is what's happening here in the city of Yonkers. Where's the money going? Who's managing the money? Yonkers makes enough money. It does. We make a lot of money. Yonkers in property taxes sees almost $400 million a year just in property taxes. It's all about money management, not creating these bogus jobs so you can give a friend and family a position to make $100,000 a year. Put individuals like Carmen Goldberg on these pedestals where they then dictate and manipulate what happens here in the city of Yonkers, like what's happening with the charter school here. That's why she got that position. It's a BS position that the guy who started it gave to her, just to have that connection to Yonkers. It's a smart business move. I'm not knocking the dude. That's what you got to do. I understand it, but this is political or public service, right? I should say it's public service. It's not business. I get it. In business, you ought to make your profit. In public service, you ought to help the people. You don't put the profits in your pocket. That's the difference. We need to get individuals in there that know how to run a corporation and that can make it successful to earn profits and not put it in their pockets, but share those profits with the city. And what do I mean by that? By tax reduction, the cost of permits and all that stuff, all these fees, cost of parking tickets, cost of the red light camera tickets, which are up now. They keep upping up these fees and these costs on the people. Remember with the parking meters, they were at 6 o'clock when they ended. Then they went to 7. Then they went to 8. And now they're 9 some places. I used to hate them when I used to live in the building. They were right in front of my building. I had to pay meter to 8 o'clock. We get taxed. We pay more. It's all about money mismanagement. When they siphon the money and they put it into their pockets, we have to supplement that money by paying more. So it's time for change. It's time for change. Right? Carmen pays Ruben and Brian Harry plenty of advertising money. I'm sure she does. I'm sure a lot of people do. That's why they write what they write. And remember, those were the individuals that were posting the disgusting stuff about me and my wife in terms of child pornography. You see, understand why I go after individuals? Certain individuals are the support to the corruption. Without these individuals supporting them and manipulating people in the community, they could not hold this power. So we must sweep the legs. Combined, 12,000 last year. That's how much they gave to these two jerk-offs. So they can write that nasty stuff. Remember, folks, Carmen Gomez Goldberg, if this is true, sponsored a pedophile. I put the court documents out. I'm not making this up. The man fondled a 16-year-old girl when he was teaching her a new karate move at his now defunct karate school. What move was that, Ruros? Crouching Tiger? Hidden Dragon? You pedophile. Disgusting pedophile. and you individuals fund this guy and associate with him. That shows how much you care about anyone. Care about yourselves. Any official, any public official, any candidate sitting next to Ruro's Yonkers Voice to do an interview to benefit your election are a person that has no integrity and no morals, because the man fondled a 16-year-old girl teaching her a new karate move. She ran off and reported it. So he pled down because he knew. And there are other individuals that he did the same to. And I've been told about them. They just don't want to come out because many victims don't. And so you guys are supporting a man that has to, sit, or people have to sit there and watch him while you guys talk to him, and they might have been a victim of his. All of you are guilty of it. All of you have stood next to that man. And this is why it has to change. It has to change, Yonkers. Has to change. Term limits are there for a reason. It's important. It's not anything personal about anyone specifically. At the end of the day, just in general, term limits are there for a reason. And it's not like the individuals that have been or that are in office now have not been there enough. Enough. And if you have not been able to accomplish much in the time you were there, then why should we give more time? Why? Has District 2 improved? Has District 3 improved? District 1, we see a lot of luxury developments. Trevor Park's been sold. JFK Marina is sold to developers. We have Con Edison ripping up roads everywhere, potholes everywhere, traffic increasing, accidents increasing, kidnappings. You got 4 kids missing under the age of 18 from Yonkers, 66 in total from Westchester County and Yonkers. Where are kids going? Crime is up. Homelessness, forget it. Rampant. Panhandling, out of control. People lying in the street just making a bed on any corner they see fit. Meanwhile, our elected officials and these elitists are attending galas, raising money, saying that it's for the community, when the community does not reflect the way they look, they dress, and they live, regardless of what race they're claiming. They are not our people. We are the average people here in the city of Yonkers, the ones that have to wake up and go to work and earn the money we get. The ones that don't get special benefits, privileges, and under-the-table deals. And it's time that we speak up and change things. I'm Freddie Vasquez. I'm up out of here, folks. Please let me know in the comments. I want to know, should we end term limits? Do you think that's the good idea? Is that the way that Yonkers should go? Term limits or no term limits? Keep the same old, or change? Change. And these people are concerned because they need these positions. That's how they keep their family members employed. That's how they will keep their money coming in. They have nothing else. What is Corazon going to go do? What is Tasha going to go do? John going to go and stay in his Yonkers Brewing Company all day now? He's probably there anyway all day now. Moranti got his accounting thing. Breen, what's he going to do? He's got no more hot dogs. But wife Patty's doing amazing in real estate game. Just retire. Let your wife take care of you, Breen. Lakeisha, you have a law firm. How's that doing? What about your real estate company that you opened up in 2017? How's the investment in real estate going? Maybe you could do that. But it's time for change. I'm Freddie Vasquez, Basement Politics. I'm up out of here. Peace out, folks. Yonkers, I love you. Don't let the BS fool you. Just ask your kids How's it going in school? Did they drop you off at the right school this morning? Make sure you ask. Was there a bus accident that we should know about? I am Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. I give it to you real, raw, unbiased, untainted, and unfiltered. It's the only way I can do it. Some may not like it, but most do. And I appreciate those who support. People know truth when they hear it. And it's time we speak the truth because we are being lied to, bamboozled. And I don't like to be bamboozled, do you? They're taking you for a fool. They don't think that you are savvy, intelligent, smart enough to see what's going on or even do something about it. You should be insulted from that alone, let alone the fact that you are having to now pay more for every cost associated with living in the city of Yonkers. By the way, Sam Borelli over at the building department. You know why people have such high violation fees for these signs? Because the Yonkers building department has made it almost impossible to get a C of O, to get permits. So while they're there waiting for you guys to get it together, you can continue violating them over a freaking little banner. And I know that comment you may have had me at the top of your mind. I'm sure I'm not the only one, but I'm sure that there are a lot of people that have not had any violations with their signs because they have some kind of connection to you through Zahi Jerris. Now, Sam, I did something nice for the ladies. Something, that I thought was appropriate. Something that you probably have never done. People say chill off Sam. Nah. You ain't do me no favors. I'm supposed to get my C of O. You screwed me out of a lot of money. You wasted a lot of my time. So yeah, I'm not paying that damn violation. Let's go to court then. I don't care. Because this is a new year, Sam. Things are going to change, brother. You should start being nicer to me. A lot nicer. Think I'm playing? Folks, he's trying to say, it's not fair to landlords, people who have businesses and they don't pay for the violations of their signs, and then they add up. Yeah, screw you. And y'all were trying to rip my sign down. And that's a known thing by other business people. People have witnessed Tasha Diaz's people trying to rip signs down. I knew somebody was trying to rip my sign down. I could tell. They kept cutting things on it. Mother pieces of what. Out of here, man. Things are going to change, folks. Let's make it change. You know how we stop all this nonsense? We elect new people. That's how we do it, right? New people, you're out of there. Don't even matter what you're saying right now. Let's come. 2023, let's come out and vote. You have to vote. Don't forget, November 8th, that's in 7 days. You must vote. Show yourself at the polls. Hey, Westchester County Board of Elections, we're going to be watching you guys in terms of ballot harvesting, all right? Especially come next year. We're definitely going to keep an eye on who's leaving out of that place, who's coming and going, who has vans going up there with a bunch of people to get ballots. We're going to watch all that. Which color van you going to have this time? It's going to be white again? We're going to have the white vans picking people up and taking them to the polling stations and then giving them a bag of food when you drop them back off at the house. We're going to be following all those vans.
You're watching Basement Politics with my dad, Freddie Vasquez.
That's right. You got to watch this because they scam the elections. You're going to watch who just recently died because they like to get their ballots and vote for them.
You're watching Basement Politics with my dad, Freddie Vasquez. You're watching Basement Politics with my dad, Freddie Vasquez.
Are we going to end term limits or what? Ending term limits or what?
In another one, Mr. Rubo lied to me. And I don't vote for a person that lied to me. Thank you very much.
want to end this quick because I'm greedy and I want some of the butter chicken. So thank you.
Exactly. And Nader Sage was getting work done to his campaign headquarters with no permits. I got it all on video.
I want to end this quick because I'm greedy and I want some of the butter chicken. So thank you.
She wants to end it quick because she's greedy and she wants some of this butter chicken. Is it finger licking?
I was raised in housing. Let's get it popping.
They want me to go after Mike Spano. People are saying, Freddie, why you don't go after Mike Spano anymore? Go hard after Mike Spano. You sell out. You've been bought out, Freddie. You don't go after the Spanos. Vinny got you under his finger or wrapped around his finger. Boyfriend and boyfriend. Vinny Spano and Freddie Vasquez. Boyfriend and boyfriend. Just ask the security up at City Hall. We boyfriend and boyfriend.
I was raised in housing. I don't think you were. I went to Yonkers public schools.
I don't think you did.
We can go on all night with this, honey.
We sure can, girl. Let's do it, baby. It's time for change. I'm Freddie Vasquez. I'm bringing a whole new movement to Yonkers. Share the damn podcast. Let's do it, baby. I'm doing this for you guys. You may not understand it, but I'm doing it for you. I can leave Yonkers and not worry about it, man. I do have that luxury, all right? So I can just play the game and get money and take whatever they're trying to give me, but I don't want it. It's not what Jesus would do. What would Jesus do? They hating on me and Vinny. See, you hating on me and Vinny, Zahi? I'm not trying to take your boo thing. By the way, shout out to my guy Vinny Spano. I appreciate what you did for me. Thank you. Shout out to Mayor Spano. That's right.
I was raised in housing. I don't think you were. I went to Yonkers public schools. I don't think you did.
Are we? Let's make it happen, guys. Make me happy today.
We don't got no little girls for you, man. Get out of here. Shout out to everyone at the city hall over there. Shout out to everyone at the building apartment. I appreciate the hospitality lately. Shout out to my guy. The person who helped me out. Well, I was getting harassed by Zahi Jerris. I went to you, Zahi, for some help, man, and you dissed me. But thank God my boy hooked me up. I appreciate the effort. You didn't have to do that, but you did. Boyfriend and boyfriend, no hate, Zahi. You got plenty of women. You should be happy. Oh man, this is incredible, boy.
No!
Say, I'm going for bagels again.
No!
No bagels? Shit.